Good morning. Thank you for
Morning.
coming out. Thank you for giving me your time. My name is Keenan Headen. I am an attorney by trade. I practice in Durham County, but I practice all over. Actually, after I leave here, I'll be going to Bladen County to try to take care of something for somebody. But I have created an app, and it started out as an entertainment app when we started out at this point 5-6 years ago. It took me some time to find a developer, but now I'm here. So let me explain what Truth or Error is. If anybody has any questions, just stop me, and I'm gonna go through what I've given out to everybody. Does everybody have the document that I handed out? Yep. So, what is Truth or Error? Truth or Error is the most dynamic, interactive, peer-to-peer mobile app with instant question and answer content creation in the world. Now, what does that mean? Basically, what it means is that Truth or Error allows anyone to put content, multiple choice based content, onto the app. So a teacher of any grade can put content on the app about his or her subject matter. Anybody that enjoys trivia about anything, let's say somebody was a World War I buff, or someone was a Punic Wars buff, or whatever the case may be, they could put content on the app, and they could interact with people around the world who may share that same interest. So that's pretty much what it is. It is peer driven, meaning that it takes people to put content on the app, meaning for them to put questions on the app, and it takes people to answer those questions on the app. Truth or Error is a trailblazer in education technology and an innovator in student-led learning designed to provide content for students from pre-K through graduate level courses. So I have a 6-year-old, and I designed questions for her. They were little simple little math questions. What's 6 plus 2? What's 3 plus 2? I made it pretty and frilly on the app, and I put it on there for her to answer. Now, Truth or Error has a direct answer section where instead of it being multiple choice, if it's 3 plus 2, she would have to type in 5 and then hit answer or whatnot. But I'm trying to steer the general public away from that because I see that can be a fiasco with people not doing that correctly. But anybody, when I was in law school, I wish I would have had this in law school, because what it does for a student, if you enter the criteria, if you enter content, it helps you remember that content. So it takes you from what I'm learning to coin from a test taker to a test maker. Anybody knows that if you can tell somebody how to do something, you know it. You pretty much know it yourself. If you can teach somebody something, you pretty much know it yourself. So if a teacher says, okay, to his or her students, I want you guys to read from page blah blah to blah blah, and I want each of you to create, say, 3 questions. And let's say it's 20 students in the class. From that, there's a maximum of potential of 60 questions that can be created on that content that the teacher is asking the students to do. Now, some students may duplicate, and that's fine, because if you see something once, you see something twice, you see something 3 times, more than likely you're going to get that. But what that's going to give the teacher, and this is where we're going to go moving forward, what that's going to give the teacher is, what did these students get from these questions? When they ask the question themselves, which there's a whole section in education now called student-led learning, what did they get from the material that I asked them to read? So therefore, what do I need to hone in on? What did they miss when they answered each other's questions? So now, what do I need to hone in on to further drive the point? Or they got this very well. Out of the 10 things I want them to get, they got 6 very well, based on what they pulled from the literature. I can hone in and go deeper down on 6. And the 4 that they didn't get, I really can concentrate on these 4 so that we have a mastery of all 10 things that I want them to get for this lesson plan. So that, we feel, can be very critical for teachers going forward once people adopt this app and start to use it. Truth or Error is a mobile platform that any user in the world can use and instantly create content they are personally knowledgeable about and interact with like-minded users around the world. So Truth Air right now is in English as far as the platform. But someone in Russia can take their phone and create a query in Russian. Someone in China can create a query in Chinese. Now, the subcategories and categories will be in English for now. But once they cross that bridge, other users can see, can interact with the app in any language. Truth Air will create and then link its own cryptocurrency to the points in the app, and students can literally earn as they learn, and thus linking the cryptocurrency to a tangible asset in which investors can see the progress generated by a business plan. Investors will be able to view the progress of the app and understand the intrinsic value of our cryptocurrency on the various exchanges, which should positively impact our cryptocurrency's value. So what we plan to do is we plan to create a cryptocurrency. Tentatively is going to be called the Tor Coin, T-O-R-E, Tor Coin, or something to that effect. And what we want to do, we want to link a user's points that they generate on the app to the cryptocurrency. So a person literally earns as they learn. Now, the cryptocurrency is 1/1,000,000th of a penny, and they have 1,000,000 points. I think for my math, that's literally a penny. But if and when the cryptocurrency goes to point to a penny, then that person has, if my math is correct, and they have 1,000,000 points in the app, that's $10,000. If it goes to a dime, they have 100,000. If it goes to $1, they have $1,000,000. And I don't know how much you guys know about the cryptocurrency space, but cryptocurrencies can easily go from 1,000,000th of a penny, which is, I think, 6 zeros in front of a 1, down to a penny, down to 10 cents, $1, $100, $1,000. That's what Bitcoin did. Now, it took Bitcoin 10 years to do that. But what we're hoping is, and I'm not sure there's anything in the cryptocurrency space that does this at this point. There's been over 2,000 cryptocurrencies that have been created. Some of them have excellent white papers. Problem is that most cryptocurrencies, to my knowledge, if not all of them, they don't have a business plan. Meaning there's nothing tangibly linked on the other side to the cryptocurrency. Meaning that the values are just derived by people trading on the exchanges. Bitcoin is not linked to anything on the other side besides what people think about it. That's different than a stock. A stock is based on, if GM announces that this quarter we outperformed what we thought we were going to do by 12%, more than likely GM stock is going to go up because it's tied to something tangible. To give you a better example, Tesla was ruminating about going private. And a gentleman that's a billionaire in the crypto space, a billionaire period, he said, well, fine. If you want to go private, Elon Musk, create a Tesla coin and finance the private venture of Tesla through the coin. And that sounds like a wonderful plan to me because Tesla's out. You see them, they're producing cars. If they say we want to produce 3,000 cars in 90 days and they hit that target, typically their stock prices go up. Same thing will happen to the coin. They did the same thing. But right now there's not a cryptocurrency that does that. We want to be the first, or one of the first, to try to pair something intrinsically on the other side of the cryptocurrency so that over time people can see, now we have 10,000 downloads, 100,000 downloads, 1,000,000 downloads. We can send those press reports out to the investors. The investors can see that I understand how this thing has value because they're growing. And so therefore the investors on the exchanges will hopefully buy more of the cryptocurrency, making it more valuable, and the points on the other side will also be taken by players, making it more valuable. But I'll explain a little bit more about that later. Truth Air is designed to be anything to anyone. People around the world of diverse interests, cultures, educational levels, and knowledge bases can instantly create the subcategory that they desire, create queries, and invite classmates, friends, family, co-workers, or fans from anywhere in the world to join them to answer and create more and diverse queries about almost any subject. The only thing that we think that's going to be hard to put on Truth or Error is, calculus, algebra, things like that. Your higher level maths. Anything other than that that's multiple choice based can be put on Truth or Error. Truth or Error is bifurcated into two main sections. The Education Technology section encompasses content for students created by parents, teachers, professors, graduate assistants, and students themselves from pre-K through graduate courses. And then you have certifications. A lot of people are taking certificates and getting certifications. Those certifications, they can study those certifications and do Truth or Error. Vocational and professional schools. Again, anything multiple choice based can be put on it, just to name a few. Businesses can also create content for their employees to test them about various policies and protocols important to those businesses, as well as government. So people in HR can create queries and put it for a particular business, and so that employees or potential employees can learn the protocol, or they can read the content themselves and create queries for other employees to learn from. The Trivia-tainment section covers content for trivia lovers of all ages that enjoy trivia about their favorite artists, actors, movies, TV shows, culture, history, or any subject in the known universe that they are knowledgeable and fanatic about. Comic-Con was just in San Diego. Raleigh just had Comic-Con type thing. Winston-Salem, I think this past weekend, had a Comic-Con type thing. Comic-Con and that whole space is extremely huge. And people are fanatic about the characters from Marvel and DC Comics and movies and artists. So Truth or Error is a space that they can share their fanaticism. And if you're really a fan, let's see how much of a fan you are. Create content or answer content. And we'll see how much of a fan you really are. Queries are created by users and answered by other users. Queries are broken into subcategories within larger and broader categories. So, for example, the category of TV shows. Any TV show that you like or are knowledgeable about, you can create on Truth or Error if it's not already. Who in here likes, say, 2.5 Men? That's on it. Who in here likes Greenleaf? Or The Office? The Office is on here. But anything that you like, well, what about Gunsmoke?
We don't watch TV, man. We cheat.
Oh, okay.
You're aging yourself.
We don't
Well, if you don't see something on here, you can instantly create it. And it's on there. All you have to do is name it, find an icon for it on your phone, put it on there, and it's on there. And just put it on the correct category, and it's on there. And you can instantly then begin to create content queries in that subcategory. Users are rewarded 500 points for each subcategory they create within the appropriate category, and 250 points for each query they create. So that's how users generate points. That's one way how users generate points. Users that create queries select how many points are at risk. So this gets into the functionality of the app. So when you create a query, you select how many points are at risk, from a minimum of 50 all the way up to 10,000 or more if you want to. The amount of time a user gets to answer the query, from 30 seconds to several minutes. So if you're creating a query, you have to kind of think about, is this something that someone can Google? And if so, how long would it take them to Google and find the answer? So you might want to set something at 45 seconds, 60 seconds. Or if it's something you either know it or you don't, you can set it out for 10 minutes. It doesn't matter if someone can't find the answer within that time. And the amount of time that the query stays on the platform. So once you get to select how long your query stays on Truth or Error, it could be a day, it could be 10 years or longer. You get to set how long that query is on the platform. Users that create queries have to be careful when they create queries because of this fact here. if you set a query, let's say I set a query and you like 2.5 minutes. So I created a query and I said, and I wanted to be able to show you guys this, but we don't have the HDMI hookup to my phone, which is fine. But I would create a query and I said, what's Alan's middle name? And I said, you know, Albert, Charles, Jerome, Oscar. And I put that at 100 points. And I set it at, say, 45 seconds for someone to be able to answer. What I'm doing is I'm saying that I set it at 100 points. So when I set it at 100 points and you answer that, you know it's Jerome. So you answered correctly. What's going to happen, 100 points is going to be deducted from me, and 100 points is going to be rewarded to you. If you answered it incorrectly, 100 points will be deducted from you and rewarded to me. So basically, when you create a query, you're gambling that more people are going to get it wrong than get it right, so that you will get more points. Because every time somebody gets a query right, you lose points.
So what happens if you have no points? You can't create queries?
Well, that will get into our in-app purchases, but at this point, you're correct. Okay. You can't create queries. But that's something I'm going to have to go back and change, because I had a person that ran into that problem, and they didn't have enough points to create.
I was going to say, when you get into gambling, you're automatically getting into potentially, you know, addictive tendencies where a person is going to keep going, and then you have the, you know, the general rule that once you start losing, you go deeper and deeper, right? So it's like, man, I lost 10,000 points. You know, I'm going to put another query. It's like, hey, man, you need to slow down, step back, but people are going to keep going.
Yeah.
Right. That's just.
And I'm glad you brought up that point, because that's what we want people to do, unfortunately. And the reason why is because Candy Crush, in the midst of the recession, the Great Recession, some people will call it. Some people, I was talking to a banker who was in banking for 40 years, Saturday, and he said actually it was very close to a complete collapse. People don't know. But I bring up Candy Crush because in the midst of that, I want to say in 2012 or 2013, Candy Crush made $4.5 billion that year. I personally don't pay Candy Crush. It's not my cup of tea. But it made $4.5 billion, and the lion's share of that money came from people paying 99 cents at a time for in-app purchases. So to your point, if a person is down and they need 1,000 points, here's 99 cents or $1.99 for 1,000 points, whatever the case may be. But you're also buying the cryptocurrency once we link that piece to it. So it's not, they're not just getting points and that's all, which is all they got with Candy Crush. But you also will be getting something of potential value. So I think I've covered that. Okay, so I've explained it. So does everyone understand that part of the gist of the thing? Okay. So the business of Truth or Error. Truth or Error has 3 advertising revenue streams. We have a bottom banner ad at the bottom of the phone. We have a larger ad that obscures the query before a user attempts to answer the query. That covers about 40-45% of the screen. And what happens is there's an advertisement over top of a query that you're about to answer. So going back to the 2.5 minute example, if you wanted to answer that query, you would see an advertisement of some sort. Then you hit a timer, and you would hit a button that says answer this query. Once you hit it, the timer would start ticking, and that ad would go away. You would be able to read what the query was. So that's most apps only have one ad revenue, which is the bottom or a top banner ad. We have 2. Actually, we have 3. And we can create custom visual ads or videos in which users can view to gain points for viewing. If you look at YouTube and before you watch a video, it'll have a 5 or 10 or 15 second ad. We can do the same thing with Truth or Error. We can't do it at this point, but at some point we can do it. And what we want to do is pay people to watch it. So we say if it's a 10-second ad, we'll give you 5 points a second. That's 50 points just for watching the ad. The advertiser is happy, and the client, the person using is happy. So it's not such a headache because a lot of people don't like ads. So if we make it something where it's incentive based for YouTube, I'm stuck watching the ad until it says skip. But with this, if I'm getting something from it, especially if it has something tied to it with cryptocurrency, I watch ads all day.
Can you have an option to buy a membership by the month where you don't see any ads?
We can, yes, we can create that platform. We do not have that now, but yeah, we easily can create that platform. Yes. So that is another potential revenue stream. For my research, only about 10% of people do that, and a lot of the popular apps, but that's 10%. So, Truth to Air ultimate revenue model is to generate income from our advertising revenue streams, which most apps only have one banner ad at the top or bottom, and more importantly, to generate revenue from the value of our cryptocurrency coin that it is traded on the exchanges and rises in value, as well as in-app purchases of cryptocurrency within the app from point sales. So going back to what this gentleman was speaking on, for people that, especially for early adopters of the app, we really want to reward them. So we might send them a notification and say, hey, you can get 10,000 points for $1.99 or something like that. They may be less than what it's trading at on the exchanges. It may be more, but we want to be able to do that. So other apps, they're not going to be able to do that, to lure extra money like that. So what we need money and resources for: to create our cryptocurrency and release it on multiple established cryptocurrency exchanges, to enhance our app graphic user interface and functionality, so still sorting those things out as well, to market the app to students, parents, teachers, professors, fans of trivia, etc., all around the world, to market the cryptocurrency to investors and cross-market the app so that investors are aware of that cryptocurrency is linked to the app, and to conversely cross-market the app cryptocurrencies to users so that they understand they can literally earn as they learn. Our marketing strategy is designed to increase downloads and users, which increase the total hours used. So I'll stop right here. I just saw a report that WhatsApp was sold for $19 billion after about 4 or 5 years in existence to Facebook. So Facebook is getting this revenue, or actually they're not, because they're not advertising on WhatsApp. But in the last 3 months, WhatsApp had 85 billion hours of views, of usage. 85 billion hours. And that was just for 1 quarter. But, I mean, it's got over 1 billion people around the world on WhatsApp using it. So total hours used, which increases ad revenue, and these measures can be used to market to investors on exchanges, which will increase the value of the cryptocurrency. So that's a long way of me saying that we want to cross-market. We want to cross-market between the app and the coin, and let people on the exchanges know about the coin and its use within the app, and let people know about the app and the uses of the coin. So hopefully those two things will converge so that on one side the app is getting more and more downloads, on the other side the cryptocurrency is rising in value. And hopefully those two things will converge and create more revenue for the app in general. We also need money and resources to eventually incorporate data analytics that teachers, professors, and even businesses can use to measure the progress of their students and employees who interact with specific content on Truth to Air. And also to eventually incorporate AI to assist with ensuring users place appropriate content within the app. So, what's in it for you? Your investment can reap you a lot of reward for a little financial risk. Here, and I know everybody says that. Everybody thinks that, $100 is going to turn into 100,000 or $1 million. But for those people that bought Bitcoin as little as 3-4 years ago, they're literally happy. They literally turned $100 into $1 million or more. So here's how and why I say that. Literally, for each penny you invest, we will have millions of cryptocurrency coins in reserve that you will own in exchange for your investment. For thousands in investment, you will be the first to receive hundreds of thousands or millions of our cryptocurrency in exchange for your investment. With your investment, we can have our cryptocurrency on the exchanges in as little as 90 to 180 days, beginning the process of our cryptocurrency in your investment, gaining in value on multiple exchanges. Also, we will have the resources to marshal all of our marketing efforts to ensure that the coin gains in value steadily every week and every month as we gain more investors, more downloads, more users, more content, more viewed hours on the app, and therefore more ad revenue. So that's the gist of Truth Air. I would love to be able to show you guys but I can't show you what it looks like. If you want to play around with it, you can pass it around. At the top, those are your subcategories that you have chosen that you're interested in, and you just tap it, and then from there you either have the choice to either create a query under that subcategory or answer queries under that subcategory.
So I have a question.
Sure.
So I make a query, and the answer is coming from who? Anybody that has answered that, or?
You make the query, and you create the multiple choice answers.
Okay.
Behind it.
Okay.
So, so therefore, it's peer driven.
Okay.
You're creating that content. So let's say everybody was on the app, and we literally right now could create Fayetteville 1MC test. I literally could create that on the app right now, and you guys could create personal content about one another. Like if somebody accidentally spilled coffee one day, and you could say, who spilled coffee in October? And you could have a list of 4 names.
But what if that's wrong information or incorrect information?
Other peers. So let's say that, going back to the 2.5 men example that I gave, the correct answer for Alan's middle name is Jerome. But let's say when I was creating that, I accidentally hit, say, B instead of C when I was creating it to finalize the answer. And so I said it was Charles. Well, she's a fan. She knows that's not true. She can go to Google. What she can do then is send me an accuracy challenge within the app. And what happens with the accuracy challenge is if I set it at 100 points, when the accuracy challenge comes to me, now it's 200 points. And what I get to do with that, I get to go back and see, wow, I was wrong. So I can either fold at that point and she will gain 200 points, I'll lose 200 points, or I can say, no, I'm right. It is Charles. I don't know where you're getting your information from. So I can send it back to her. Now it's 400 points. And she say, no, it's Jerome, Dodo. She can send it back to me. So we keep playing ping pong until one of us folds, and we don't have this at this point, but either the admin is going to have to decide to dispute, or eventually we're going to have other peers within the platform decide to dispute who is correct. So it is self-monitored. Now, if someone puts inappropriate content on the app that's, deals with inappropriate language, something in the wrong section, and it's reported to admin, then we can take it down and we can strip that person of all of their points and we can give them to the person that reported. So once we have the cryptocurrency space, that becomes very important.
Notice if you give the wrong answer, you lose points. You go into the negative.
On the app, can you go into the negative? Not at this point, you can't go into the negative. We can change the coding, but no, at this point, you can't go into the negative. But we can change that with a couple of codes. Where
I'm not saying you should. I'm just wondering if you can.
Yes, ma'am.
So have you looked at the legality of having it type cryptocurrency and then also marketing it to minors? As you said, it goes in regard to like graduate school, but then you're dealing with cryptocurrency and you're dealing with like 5-year-olds, and like that seems like a legal issue.
Yeah. Well, we're compliant with COPA. So any child over 13, for one, has to sign. Their parent has to sign them up for one. And for the cryptocurrency, we're going to have it explicitly mandated that you can't, if you're under 18, you can't even get the cryptocurrency without your parents' consent. So essentially, your parent would have to set up the account, and would have to set up the account and email us vital information about at least the username of the child and who's going to be using it, just to make sure that we don't want to file any law or anything like that. Because you're right, children will be potentially using the cryptocurrency if we link it, a direct linkage. We'll probably have it to where you have to take a second step. If you want the cryptocurrency to be linked to the points, then you'll take a second step and have to do that.
So the app is published in the Android store
And iOS. I'm sorry, yeah, it's both. It's published in
How many
iOS and Android.
users do you have now?
We've got probably about 2,000 on both platforms.
Downloads, or those are active users?
Active users, we've probably got about 100 or so active users daily.
Oh, that's daily.
Yeah.
What about monthly?
I hadn't looked at the analytics in a while. Probably monthly, maybe, I would say 200 to 300.
Okay. How do you differentiate your service from Kahoot?
Kahoots is, well, one, you can instantly create content on it. And Kahoots is just education. This
Right.
is trivia as well.
Okay.
So it's a combined platform. And because we're thinking about more like high school and college students.
Okay.
College students and high school students, 1 minute they need get some information about whatever they're studying and interact with the app. They may create a query, they may answer some queries. The next minute they may get bored and they want to type a query about Beyonce, and that's fine.
So with the because I see that with Kahoot, like you said, they're very focused on education, using a similar concept. I think that differentiation wise, I think that the most intriguing thing about this, because it's designed to be it's gamification, focused, and I'm assuming your goal is to get mass users
Yes.
on the app in order to generate ad revenue.
Yes.
Based on your revenue stream. So I think that the gamification element, right, you have, I used to build apps. So when we deal with gamification, you have black hat motivations, right? So education is a white hat. That means people feel good when they do it, but they're not going to do it addictively.
Yeah.
Right? Versus this, where you're getting into gambling, which is unpredictability, people will do it addictively, which is why I said they start going down. And like you said, that's where a lot of those apps make their money. You're going to keep failing the challenge, and then you're like, dude, I'm like 3 levels, and if you don't re-up in 60 seconds, it's going to push you back.
Yeah.
Right? Or you have Farmville. If you don't reap your crops right now, you lose everything. So
Wow.
you had, I was in Hong Kong, some 68-year-old woman was like asking to use my phone so that she could get on Farmville because she had 3 hours left, to reap her crop. It's like people are crazy like that. Like,
Yeah.
I need to do this because I work hard to get this crop.
Yeah.
So I think that have you thought about taking a different angle where you do like there's a diet app, not a diet app, it's like a health and fitness app where basically you have a friend anywhere in the world. I think it's called Pact. And basically, I put money through the app, so it'll be like $4.99 or whatever. And then, let's say, he says, okay, I'm going to run every day. So we have a pact, right? And there's $5 from his account, $5 from my account. And the app tracks his activity.
Mm-hmm.
So if he does not run, right, I get money back into my account.
Yeah.
If he does run, the money goes to his account.
So you lose the $5.
That's right.
You gain the $5.
So it's all based on, okay, if you actually do this, then you'll get rewarded, right? If you don't, and then we're just having an agreement
Yeah.
So I think that if you did that way, where it's like, all right, I'm gonna put $10 on the app, so people are now paying in there, and obviously you can have transaction fees, which is a much more secure model that's benefiting from the first and the end of the transaction. So what happens if I go in and he says, I'm gonna put $10 in the app, I'm gonna put $10. He says, I bet I know more about Marvel than you. So then he goes in and he's like, all right, cool, $10, $10. All right, question number one. So he puts a question, I put a question. You know, I say, who's the only, you know, person that Thor has ever lost to, you know, with his hammer or whatever?
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that. It's this person. Okay, boom, money to his account. All right, and go back and forth.
Wow.
So I'm thinking that the cryptocurrency tie-in is definitely intriguing, but I feel like from a user, to get the kind of engagement and downloads and spreadability you want users to bring other users. Right?
Yeah. And so let me say this, because I didn't get a chance to go through this because the phone wasn't on.
Yeah.
But I do have a section where you can share a query. You like a query. You might have gotten it right. You might have gotten it wrong. But you say, you know, I know he's not going to know this. If I didn't know it, I know he's not going to know it. So you can share it. Or you can send him a challenge.
Right.
And now if you just share it, if I set the query at 100 points and I created it, when you share it, it's just 100 points. But if you challenge him, you can set it at whatever you want.
Points you want.
So that kind of gets into
right
what you're talking about. It's not quite the same, but it kind of gets into that.
Because I'm just thinking more from a revenue stream and to hit your benchmark numbers.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, my secondary question was, you know, as you guys have developed the MVP version of the app, do you guys have a group of lead users that you can, because, you know, when I usually do more agile development approach, where we say, okay, we start with the designs and the prototype, and we sell the concept. So we get lead users in a room who are all people who we think are potential adopters. They represent a market, like high school or college students. You get them in the room, you show them designs, then you say, hey, you could do this, you could do this, and they're like, I like that, or I don't like that, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's the next stage.
Because I feel like
to get it revamped.
What you have on the app right now, there's a lot of different things I can do, and that's the paradox of choice, right? If I have too many options, then I'm like, I don't know what to do. Because I'm like, I can share, I can add this, answer a query, create a query, versus a very linear mind where the app is guiding me through the steps to say, okay, I open the app, and immediately it says, pick your topics.
Yeah, it does.
Right? I know that it does that onboarding. So I'm saying now that I'm in the app, okay, there's value in the very simple, what is this app going to do right now? So it's like, what is it helping me to do? Like my banking app, deposit a check. Most people have a banking app for two reasons: check their balance and deposit checks. Most people are not using bank apps for anything else. And I'm in a focus group with Bank of America right now, and they're trying to mine information from us to figure out what would help us use the app more.
Well,
besides those things, because like, well, I need to transfer him money through Zelle, deposit my check, and check my balance.
Gotcha.
Period. Like, other than that, or a notification, you know, your account has been debited this amount. Wait, what was charged? Like, that's it. So it's like but Bank of America has like, I think they have over 170 features in the app, and only 8 of them are used.
Yeah.
So that tells, and I told them in the focus group, like, why would you build 170 features of which only 8 can be used? Well, you know, you can make an appointment with your business banking specialist on your phone. I wouldn't do that. I'll just go to the branch.
Yeah.
And sign in.
Yeah.
Like, well, you can save time and make it. It's like, well, I understand what you're saying, but, you know, as Kent, my friend Kent says, is that your job is not to reform customers; it's to satisfy them. Right. So right. So it's like you're trying to change what I would normally do, rather than using your technology to make it easier what I'm already doing.
Gotcha.
Right. So now you don't have to convince me on the behavior. You just have to convince me that your solution is going to make that easier for me or more enjoyable for me, like you're doing with learning.
Gotcha.
So that's where my question is coming from with the lead users of getting your app in front of your target market, the high school, college students, having them walk through and getting that honest, raw feedback before you start investing more in adding a feature or taking away a feature and let them tell you, I would never use that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've already went through one revision from the feedback that we got.
Okay.
So the app is already more streamlined.
Yeah.
It probably definitely could be even more streamlined than where it's at.
Yeah.
Because right now when you go in, you know, like I said, the subjects that you said you were interested in already pop up.
Yep.
And then you have a choice. Well, from there, once you hit that, you have a choice to either create queries or answer queries. Mm-hmm. And then from there, you know, like the share and all that functionality does not come in until you actually get into a query.
Right.
And it's at the bottom. And I can show you those icons.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it playing around in the app.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a certain level of usability already present in terms of feature set. My interest is which of those features are most people going to use?
Yeah.
And which are the ones that are kind of like, we can hide this because they're really not going to use it unless they're looking for it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be front and center because it has answer a query, it has this, share it, and it's like, wait, but so which one am I? Do I want to share it? Do I want to do this? Versus like, I pick biology 1, okay, answer a query, bam, I'm going to answer. Now I answer, okay, here are your questions. Click on that, question number 1. And then just streamline the experience. Now, if I want to get to the point where I'm like, man, I want to share this one, it's probably going to be at the end when I'm done answering after questions, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. Once you answer, then you'll see those 5 icons to let you know what you can do after you answer. And even before that, above that, it's got next query or it's got create query.
Yes.
And we went back in and added that. Before it was just next query.
Okay.
We added the create query just in case somebody said, you know, and they want to create something like that. Before you had to go back out, you had to do all this, but now you just hit a button and you can create a query, and then you can go back to answering if you like. So we're still working on those functionality links and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
It's, I feel like at least for me, the biggest thing with this is kind of like that almost monetizing an experience, right? Because, you know, if it's just answering trivia questions, you know, you have a ton of those, right? But it's, there's something interesting about the cryptocurrency tied to it that almost makes it a game more than just education, at least for me, the way that I'm thinking about it. The questions for me is, you know, with the cryptocurrency, there has to be a way for it to be almost separate from this, though, right? Because the value of any cryptocurrency is not just arbitrary, right? It's not just somebody saying, "Here, I'm going to give you $1 for it," but it's usually used. Like, how many users are out there? What's the demand, right? Demand and supply, right?
Yeah.
And if you're able to create an unlimited supply, then there's not really, you know, any point in purchasing. So I'm assuming there's going to be a limited supply of the cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah.
And then the value that you tie to it, for example, get 1,000 coins for $1.99. Well, that's giving it a value at that point, right? So that would always have to be flexible, right? Like, you can log in this morning and it's $1.99 for 1,000, and it's been in such high demand that it went to $2.99 by the end of the week or whatever it is, right? So it's always fluctuating up and down with the demand of the currency. And then there has to be, and I feel like this would probably be the one of the biggest hooks is a way for you to be able to kind of cash that out, right? So if I have 100,000 in currency, there's a direct value for it, and the way that you make money on that is not on a people paying me $100,000 and I'm keeping that, you know, but it's on a, you know, almost on a transactional fee, for that, so that people can always, you know, if I'm playing the game right and I'm saying, man, I could actually do this, and it might have some actual like usage above and beyond like the game factor to it, but if I'm playing around, like if I go to a bar or something like that, and you know, I could see someone could just, hey, create a query, right? And there's going to be 100 points on the line for this one, right? And then, you know, everyone can answer it, right? And there's that engagement with people. And at the end of the night, you know, man, I'm an idiot. I lost like all my coins, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm super smart and I won a bunch of coins, right? And then I can say, hey, you know, cash this out for like, you know, a $5 gift card or something like that,
Yeah.
where there is an actual incentive to do it, and it's not just another trivia game that I'm playing somewhere else. So I think there's it's a good concept. I just think that tying it to that value, where it's not just like, it's not just another cryptocurrency. I think for you, right? If there's 2,000 out there, like, well, you know, do we need 2001?
So
Yeah.
Keenan, I'll take the last question.
Sure.
What can this community do for you?
Any resources that you can bring to bear. If you know any people in marketing, I definitely want to speak to this gentleman here who has experience in coding and development, and this gentleman here. Or just simply download it, play with it. If you wouldn't mind, I should have put this on. If you don't mind writing it on, you can email me at truthorapp@gmail.com. Give me, you know, your feedback. If you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have suggestions, you know, I would love to hear them. If you know of anybody, of course, that would potentially like to invest, definitely, you know, let me know. But any resources that people can bring to bear to help bring this to fruition. If anybody knows a professor here at FTCC that would like to implement this with their class as a learning experience in the business department or any department, that would be great, because I'm just looking to create those types of relationships. I'm currently in the process of talking to Duke. I did something small with NCCU last year. I plan on doing it again this year. So, I mean, almost every department can use the app to help the students. So,
Well, we thank you very much for coming. Great presentation.